Hello and welcome to this week's talk. Earlier this year, I decided to get really targeted with the board positions that I was looking for. I'm currently on the boards of two really strong brands in Ghana and in South Africa, and have turned down a couple of sort of board positions for tech startups across Africa. And I decided to find board positions, more targeted board positions on multinational organizations across Africa and Europe. So I spent some time actually really doing a lot of research and trying to figure out what it takes and what it takes to get on really prominent boards. Now, one of the things that I've learned in that process, and I wanted to share with you, especially I suppose this video is targeted towards women. It's general advice, but it's more targeted towards women because I think there are specific issues there. That I just wanted to share the things I had learned on the journey to finding the right board positions. And even as I go through that process. First of all, people invite you to a board because you fit a certain criteria. Either you are a representative of an organization, right? So let's say you're C-level in your organization and your organization has equity in another one and they put you on the board of that company. Or that you have equity in that company and you get a board position based on that. Or you are an expert, or you are so well respected, you're an expert and so well respected in your space that your coming on that board brings credibility and clout to the organization that's inviting you. And then lastly, you are a known, trusted entity to, say, the chairman of the board or to the CEO or to the person that's looking for or making decision on who gets to sit on the board. Now, I understand there are lots of, especially when it comes to women and minorities, there are a number of groups that do like governance training programs, and a number of them even offer for people that don't have any board experience internships. I like the work they're doing, and in the last couple of weeks I've been getting emails from, I think, the Africa CEO Forum, where they're doing trainings in Paris specifically for women who want to get on board. Now, I understand that those things are needed, but just from the experience that I've seen, there's a thing called 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the activities that will give you the greatest impact. Now, I suspect that you can do as much training as you can, and you could even do board internships, but that's probably not your fastest way to a board position. Because to be honest, in my first couple of board positions, and I've resigned from a couple of boards, I didn't have training. And so I actually got on the board and then got training to be on how to be on a board. So training is great, but that's not necessarily, and I'm not saying don't go get like training to be on a board, but I think that doesn't get you onto a board. I wanted to share with you my 3 really strong tips from the lessons that I've learned in getting a board position. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't, depends on where you sit on the aisle, who you know is a very, very relevant factor in getting on a board position. Who is making the decision, who's making the recommendations for people that should be on the boards? Do you know them? And more importantly, do they know you? And so there's a significant amount of work that needs to be done for the people that are on the boards that you care about. And I've made a specific list, and I believe that you should make a really specific list of companies whose boards you want to sit on. And there's work to be done in creating relationships. So it's not that you met them at this one thing or the other and said hello and they know your name and they can recognize you in a crowd. I am saying actively building a relationship So when when a seat opens up on a board, or somebody is asking them to make a recommendation for a board, that they specifically think about you. Take for instance, I run, apart from running a tech company, I have a foundation called Women in Tech Africa. Consistently, people reach out to me to find women for VC funding, to find women to speak at events, to find women for roles and things like that. So it would be good for women, essentially for women who are in the tech industry. It might be beneficial to have a relationship, at least where I know who you are and what you are doing and what's interesting, so that when things come my way, I can easily share, right? So find who in your community is the influencer. I know I hate the word influencer, but I don't know, thought leader, whatever. 2, people hate the word personal branding and they think it's a dirty word. And I empathize with that and I understand that. But to be honest, going back to the advice that I was given, which said, never let it be when people are speaking about the niche in which you work or the space that you are in, never let it be that when your name comes up in a conversation, people ask, who is she? Who is he? Never let it be. I'm not saying be internet famous, right? So all I'm not saying is that create a personal brand, have a Facebook page, but at least in your industry or in the space in which you would prefer to have a board position, that do the work so that the right people know who you are and are very clear on your value and what you bring. Make friends and be trusted by the people that either are the go-to people for people who are looking to find board members, or who make board recommendations, or who sit on the juiciest and best boards. I cannot emphasize that enough. Also, boldly put out feelers, like boldly state. So I, for instance, have made a list of the multinational organizations in Africa and Europe that I'm intensely excited about sitting on the board for, and the value that I bring. And please put feelers out there. Be bold and have conversations with the right people. Have a very bold conversation and say, look, this sitting on this board is very interesting to me. This is the value I think I bring to the board. And I would love to know if a spot opens up. Build a CV that is specifically for board position, not your general CV. Put it up on your LinkedIn, and also actually tick on your LinkedIn that I'm looking for board positions. I tell you what is good though. You can also start not with a board internship, but with non-profits. So taking up on paid board positions in non-profits. A lot of non-profits that are always looking for people that will bring value and might not necessarily have the money to pay. So, raise your hand and say, hey, I'd love to be on your board. Take 2 or 3 good ones and bring value, because the excuse they will use specifically for women and minorities is, oh, this person doesn't have board experience, and you can then bring out your unpaid board positions and show the work that you've done, which I think is honestly more preferable to board internships. And lastly, a lot of groups now that want to help support women to get on boards. Join the groups, sign up for the mailing lists. I mean, I get that if they blast out an email to 1,000 people and say, oh, this company is looking for a board member, your chances of getting it are not that high, but at least you are in the know about board positions that are opening up. So those are my tips on how to get on the boards that you want. I think that you're going to have to start from a certain place. I think you're going to have to take on paid board positions for a little bit and grow your portfolio and bring value, because honestly they will not come to you, especially if you're a woman and a minority. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that you've been able to learn something from it. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, please leave comments below and let me know. Enjoy the rest of your week.